All in all, it took us about, I want to say, 3 hours to cover the entire country of Liechtenstein. We are heading down to Italy now with plan to stop at Lake Como. The drive from the tranquil beauty of Liechtenstein to the iconic shores of Lake Como in Italy was full of breathtaking scenery and a delightful exploration of diverse landscapes. After about 3-hour drive, we've arrived to this magnificent body of water that has captured the hearts of travelers for centuries, offering them its picturesque landscapes and charming towns. There are 3 main or popular towns in this area: Menaggio, Bellagio and Varenna. We ended up staying closer to the actual capital, the town of Como, as we were just passing by, spending only one night here. The town of Como is the largest on the lake, and it beautifully blends the old and new. We arrived here in the afternoon and had the chance to explore its historic center with architectural treasures and vibrant shopping district. Lake Como, or as Italians call it, Lago di Como, has so much more to offer. Whether it's boating or hiking, exploring historic villas, immersing in the local culture, or enjoying the delicious food. Unfortunately, we had to skip all of that and hope to be back one day to fully enjoy it. What we did have time to do is to ensure we find a nice place with a lake view and spend a few unforgettable hours taking in the surrounding beauty of this Italian oasis. Just south of Lake Como, in the heart of Lombardy, stands the fashion capital of Italy and potentially the world, a beautiful city of Milan. This Italian metropolis is very special to me as I am a huge football fan and my favorite team happens to be from here, from Milano. Quick pit stop in Milan, super hot, but Forza Milan, sempre. As there was not much time to spend here, we headed straight to Milan's main attraction, Piazza del Duomo. This is city's main square, full of tourists and home to one of the most beautiful cathedrals in the country, Duomo di Milano. It is a magnificent Gothic masterpiece that stands as an iconic symbol of Milan. The construction of Duomo began in the late 14th century and took over 6 centuries to complete. Decorated with intricate statues and marbles, the exterior of this church always fascinated me as it is a sophisticated display of Gothic architecture. Duomo di Milano is more than just an architectural wonder. It is deeply intertwined with history of the city. Over the century, it has witnessed numerous historical events and cultural shifts. It even served as a site of the coronation of Napoleon. Walking around here always felt special. Right beside the church is another iconic jewel of Milan, Galleria Vittorio Emanuele. As one walks in here for the first time, it appears to be some kind of magnificent museum or a theater. But in fact, it's one of the world's oldest and most elegant shopping malls. Completed in 1877, the structure is a soaring iron and glass marvel with a stunning vaulted glass roof. The Galleria is adorned with ornate mosaics, decorative floor tiles, and grand arched entrances. If you're in Milan for the first time and have limited time to spare, these 2 spots are perfect introductions to Italy's most fashionable city. The road to the next country on my bucket list required moving east of Milan and making a short pit stop before reaching the Adriatic coast of Italy. The choice fell on the beautiful city of Verona. Often regarded as the city of love, it captivates visitors with its well-preserved ancient architecture, vibrant cultural scene, and timeless charm. Verona gained its popularity among larger masses in the world because of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. The settings of this city was used in the famous play. As the result, many related sites are scattered across Verona's UNESCO-protected historic center. One of them is Casa di Giulietta, or Giulietta's house, where you will find many tourists, the famous courtyard with a museum and the Giuliette's balcony. This is probably #1 tourist attraction in Verona. However, I hope the visitors know that the site actually isn't real. Though it is beautiful and does date to 12th century, it has nothing to do with Shakespeare's Juliet, as she was a fictional character and it's not based on a real person. But naturally, people love to romanticize, and having the idea of Romeo and Juliet makes Verona a special place to visit, especially because it provides a chance to wander its magnificent cobblestone streets and beautiful piazzas. This was my first time visiting Verona, and I must tell you, I fell in love with it. Throughout this series, I choose one recommendation per episode, and Verona is a definite winner of this one. Spending some time here, you will most definitely be swept away by city's romantic charm. Spectacular views, fairytale castles, picturesque medieval streets is only a short description of San Marino. However, having said that, the images you are seeing right now on your screen was not how we saw this place when we first arrived here. We are in San Marino, but unfortunately Italy got hit with heavy rain today, and impossible to put a drone up to just show this beauty. So we decided to actually spend the night in this region, in a nearby town called Rimini. It's a famous town on the coast, and then come back tomorrow morning here to San Marino and just fly a drone, hopefully capture the beauty. But first impressions are really positive. Very cute. I don't know, like, I guess country, but it looks more like a small village, a small town. But definitely lots of history. You can feel a lot of history, a lot of historic buildings, everything made of stone, and it's quite enjoyable, minus the weather. Since we're already here and for obvious reason the outside activities were out of a question, we looked for something to do inside. One of the must-visit sites here is the Parliament building of San Marino. It is fairly small, but it is the heart of San Marino's political life and history, and it is open to public, hence its name Palazzo Pubblico. It stands on Piazza della Libertà, or as they call it, Freedom Square, and it was built in the late 14th century. The facade is richly decorated with numerous symbols, including the coat of arms of the Republic and this guy. If you didn't recognize him, it's Abraham Lincoln, who was an honorary citizen of San Marino. I bet you did not know that. Inside the main room on the back wall, the image of the founding saint surrounded by people. The legend says that on this painting he's telling the people, "I leave you free from both men," implying the Pope and the Emperor of Rome. I'm at the Parliament building of San Marino, and I must say it's a very fascinating building. It just happens so that today we're like the only 4 tourists here. So we got the whole place to ourselves. On the walls here you can see the history of the country. Everything is so beautiful, so colorful, a lot of cool art. But what's worth mentioning is that San Marino actually has the oldest constitution in the world, dating back to the year 1600. Which makes it 422 years old, which is quite fascinating, and the locals here are very proud of this fact. Palazzo Pubblico is not merely a historical monument, as it remains a functioning seat of San Marino's government, where political decisions are made, maintaining the tradition of republic with a contemporary framework. Another fascinating building is Basilica di San Marino. Built in 1820s on the same spot where the original 5th century church once was found, it is considered to be the main religious building of the Republic. The basilica looked pretty cool, and it was built in the neoclassic style, with the immense bell tower beside it. Inside, you will find a main altar under which the remains of the saint are housed. All in all, it is a quite impressive building, and in my opinion, definitely worth a quick stop here. Okay, so what's San Marino and what's so special about it? Well, for starters, it's the oldest surviving constitutional republic in the world, established back in 1301. And the history behind this country is quite fascinating. Back in the day, during Roman times, the stonecutter Marino from contemporary Croatia, he fled his home. He was facing prosecutions by Romans, and he fled. He went across the sea and found a place here. He went up to the hill in the mountains and established this republic. And therefore, at some point, he was proclaimed as a saint, and the republic was given a name to honor the stonecutter Marino. That rainy day, we also got our obligatory passport stamps before coming back the next morning. So we came back this morning, and thankfully the day is beautiful, clear skies. San Marino is completely surrounded by Italy, but it's not part of European Union. What's funny is that they do use euro as its currency. The area of San Marino is just 61 square kilometers or 24 square miles, with population of just over 34,000. GDP per capita is pretty high as well, it's around $60,000, and taxes here are low and most of the goods are cheaper than in Italy. The country has 9 towns, but the main one is San Marino City, which, as you may have guessed, is also a capital. The medieval charm of San Marino is evident in its architecture. The famous three towers, located atop of the hill, crown the mountaintop and offer stunning views of the surrounding landscapes. Piazza della Libertà looks special on a sunny day. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to come back the next day and show you this country from aerial view. This is the main town square where official celebrations and various events take place. The Old Town is a beautiful labyrinth of narrow medieval streets, historic buildings, restaurants, shops, and museums. Of course, the best way to explore it is on foot. You can also hike to the iconic three towers here, or take a cable car ride down to Borgo Maggiore. In conclusion, San Marino may be small in size, but its historical grandeur, cultural richness, and stunning landscapes have really impressed me, and I'm glad I had visited this remarkable microstate. With San Marino behind our belts, 3 countries from the bucket list for this trip were crossed out. San Marino happened to be the easternmost point of this trip, and now we had to turn back and start moving west along the Mediterranean coast towards south of France. Of course, we couldn't miss a famous Cinque Terre region. It is set of 5 villages and we chose a couple to visit. The very eastern village was Rio Maggiore. We stopped here to wander around. It is the starting point of a popular hike that connects this village with others. Luckily for us, we were able to avoid the crowds of tourists and enjoy this part of Italian Riviera in peace. I think the charm of Cinque Terre lies in its quintessential villages with narrow streets and old houses that seem to defy gravity as they hang on to the cliffs. This place is a living postcard that captures the essence of coastal Italy, where vibrant colors, old traditions, and natural splendor converge. In my opinion, if you haven't been before, it is definitely worth a visit. The morning in Rio Maggiore was a great addition to this road trip, and as the crowds of tourists started to arrive, we continued our journey towards the last leg of this European adventure.